lost maneuvering thrusters. Can't take any more hits to port or we'll
Jump drives.
Then that's it. It's been an honor.
Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to start a new series of combat fleet testing in Stellaris as the Machine Age expansion is nearly upon us. So I want to try and get small videos testing out combat testing. I'll try and do them nearly daily, maybe about 5 videos a week or so. So send me in your ideas of what you like with your ship designs and what you'd like me to test them against. I'd like to see a lot of ideas, and then I'll test them and I'll say who the designs are from so that we can get some really good variation of designs and see what creativity is out there, because I think there's quite a lot of designs that people think are meta or can't be beaten, and they can be. It just requires different way of thinking, and it's also different game styles. You know, what's good for PvP is, you know, it's not good for PvE. And most people here are solo players. 95% of Stellaris are solo players, so the PvP area is only a niche sector of the market. Anyway, today we're having a look at a couple of strong designs. This design is a balanced cruiser design, which has been used previously in some of my videos. It's very strong with the Devastator torpedo, so it's designed to get in close, do a lot of damage to counter battleships and other cruisers. It also, while it's charging in from long range, it will constantly fire missiles at the enemy targets, and missiles tend to be good against a variety of different ship types, and the Devastator torpedoes tend to be good against anything really larger than destroyers, although they can be effective against destroyers as well. You get the torpedo combat computers, standard type of accessories, going mostly armor with a couple of shields, afterburners so that we can close the range on those battleships and hopefully do a lot of damage. So this is typically a strong cruiser build, and there's variations of this, and I'll go through another variation shortly. But what I wanted to show is in this video is just how effective screening ships are, even if you have them in the same fleet. Unfortunately, the limitations of the game, I can't test lots of different fleets at once versus lots of different fleets at once. So I've got a 64 corvettes and 12 battleships. Battleships are focused arc emitters, which I think are the strongest X-slot weapon in the game. I've done a lot of testing on it. They just seem to do consistently more damage output than the others. But that can vary depending on the target you're fighting. If you're fighting some specific crisis or fallen empires, then you may want to change it up. Artillery, which is always very good. Kinetic artillery is still one of the highest DPSs that you can do in the game. Running mostly armor, one shield, a couple of afterburners to give us a bit extra speed using the artillery combat computers and standard accessories there. We don't have any leaders on the fleets either. It's just a standard fleet because there's so many variables now of the leaders and the different settings and edicts and traditions. So it's just far too much to counter for. The corvettes are using point defense so that they can counter missiles. And if you wanted to, you could put in a mix of corvettes with also flak so that you could counter strike craft if your enemy had some cruisers with strike craft in there as well to give you a little bit more balance. And a couple of disruptors. These are just designed to swarm in, surround the enemy fleet and just cause chaos basically, and try and disrupt the enemy's attack on the main capital ships, the battleships, hence screening ships. Couple of armor, shields, afterburners, using the swarm combat computers, standard accessories there. Now, in terms of, you can see there is a large difference in firepower, 21,000 points. That is mainly because of the corvettes. It's just the number of corvettes that seems to tweak the firepower up a fair bit. In terms of alloy costs, it is nearly exactly equal. You can see here a fleet of battleships and corvettes, which is exactly what I've got, costs 34,800 alloys. Cruisers, 40 of them, cost 34,000, nearly 900 alloys. So they're nearly exactly equal in terms of alloys. And that is why I went with this ratio, because the more corvettes you have, the higher the alloy difference in the cost of the fleets. And less the battleships are just more efficient in terms of alloys and numbers and firepower. So we'll see how this battle goes. Let's dive in and see how effective the battleships and screening ships are against the cruisers, which tend to be the meta currently.
Engaging enemy fleet.
You can see their long-range weapons are fired. The corvettes are charging in. Battleships are retreating, as they should. The cruisers are trying to get to the battleships. They're launching missiles. I don't think they've launched any torpedoes. And they've lost no battleships. We would have lost battleships if there was torpedoes away. So they are losing cruisers. But they're not being able to get through the close range at the battleships because the corvettes are running interference effectively at this stage. Yeah, they're losing a lot of cruisers. The battleships is firing away with their long-range weaponry, X-slots, the focused arc emitters, and the artillery, while the cruisers keep intercepting. Now they're closing the range. Now they're getting off some torpedoes. Not too many though. Their numbers are just so little now, it doesn't matter. There we go. That's the retreated fleet. So they lost 22 cruisers. And we've lost, what's that, about 15 corvettes. That's it. So our losses to replace that, cruisers are 19,000 alloys, and our losses were 3,300 or 400, 3,400 alloys in total. So that's a rather large difference. So 16,000 alloy difference. We didn't actually lose any battleships. So the screening ships were very effective in protecting the battleships from the cruisers and enabling them to get through. So sometimes there's a little bit of RNG in this, and sometimes you will lose a couple of battleships and you will lose maybe a few more corvettes, but typically it's around this. It's very efficient. Now, if I saw my enemy or the AI was using corvettes with disruptors like this to try and intercept me, then I would switch my design up of my cruisers, which you can do quite quickly, to another design, and we'll look at that now. So for this battle, we've just changed the cruiser design a little bit to be more effective against an enemy that you see is running a lot of screening ships to protect their capital ships. So for this, we're still keeping the Devastator torpedoes, but we've changed out the missiles to disruptors to better counter the enemy's corvette swarm. Everything else is remaining the same. There's no changes. So the disruptor should work well with the Devastator torpedoes. They're both close range weapons, both 30 range, so that's quite good. The opposing fleet is still the same with no changes made whatsoever. Same corvette. We haven't even changed the PD slider out to counter for the no missiles. So effectively we've lost a slot here. So we're sort of giving the cruisers an advantage. It's saying that your enemy basically knows what your ship design is and they've countered it effectively with what ships they have available. Let's see how this battle pans out.
Engaging enemy fleet.
So once again, long range weapons are firing. Battleships have retreated. Corvettes are engaged. Although they are losing lots more. They've already lost more in this first few seconds than the entire last battle. They've only lost 4 cruisers. Still, they're not closing close enough to get the Devastator torpedoes off. They're still engaging the remaining corvettes. They're having trouble closing distance. The battleships are just continuing to fire away. It's almost like their combat computers getting confused still. Yeah, you can see this battle's already lost. They're just not closing within enough range. It's just like they keep trying to go after that battleship and they try to go after there. They're just bouncing between the targets while the battleships remain at range and pound away. Bit of a quirk of the combat computers. We did lose a lot of corvettes though. Far more than last game. There we go. And they've retreated. I think it was 12 when they retreated, so... There was about 28 cruisers, so a bit more losses than last game. Probably be around that 20,000 alloy mark. While we did lose about nearly 20 more, about 17 more. So the cost now is 9,300 alloys to replace it, and we did lose 1 battleship actually. So they must have just a couple of torpedoes. I did think I saw a couple of torpedoes fire. To replace these losses, that's 26,000. It was about 12, so the cost would probably be about 25,000 alloys to replace the lost ships that they lost. So Disruptors, in terms of the losses they took, was actually more costly in terms of the alloys, but they also made the battle more costly for your enemy. It was about 3,000 and a bit alloys versus 9,000 and a bit alloys, but still, it's not a contest really. The party using the battleships with the screening ships, it'll be far more effective. And you can also use the destroyers as well. Destroyers can be quite effective if the enemy is running with more strike craft and missile combination. They might have a mix of cruiser design, so destroyers can be very effective in putting up PD and flak screens, as well as being quite hard to hit, although they just don't have the numbers that the corvettes do, and you still would take some losses, and the torpedoes would be more effective at hitting those destroyers as well. So tell me what you think about these ship designs. Give me some comments and give me some of your own ship designs, and I'm happy to test whatever designs you want to throw out, and I'll make some videos about them in the next few days. I'll be trying to do videos every day, so if you send me some designs, you should see them appear in the next few videos. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye for now.